Hi everybody, this is Ross Mikowski, former Kung Fu instructor. Here's John Partika, current Kung Fu instructor. And today we're going to be talking about a guy I know named Ranger Rob. He is the local law enforcement at Balboa Park. And I used to spar there once a week for about 2 years. And we found out that the local park ranger guy, he would always come up and see what we were doing because he also did martial arts. He did the Sayat Kali, which is a blade-based style from the Philippines. This Apache knife stuff, where they would basically put fake blood on their arms and spar, and the Bujinkan, which they do like ninja stuff. So anyway, he was like very much into knives, and he had a background that was totally different than mine, so I always tried to listen to what he had to say. And he was talking about the X block in knife fighting, which my first thought is that's stupid. The reason being that everybody's seen like lame karate demos where he does one big stab like this and I block it and then I'm going to turn it into some kind of a cool defense. Or alternatively, he does an upward one and I do a cool block and then I'm going to turn it into something again. But realistically, people don't really do that kind of a thing. They aren't going to do one thing like this. So I was like, Ranger Rob, what are you talking about? That's crazy. But the thing is, he always has knives. Like, he has a couple knives on him at any given time. More so than you would think you would need. And what he was talking about was he would be coming in with this upward stab because realistically what he's going to be doing is doing many of these in a row, or the opposite, many of these in a row. So the idea there, oh, and when he does this, he is doing this with the intent of killing me. So he's going to be doing this probably as hard as he can, versus, you know, some lame thing like this where I stop. So he's trying to stab me very hard with this thing, and there's not that many things that I can do aside from moving my body out of the way that are going to stop his arm. If I try and do like maybe a one-arm thing, this might not cut it. Especially, see here, this one can reach me. This is because I'm actually not really leaning forward too. But anyway, so this is a way that I can actually get a good deal of safety here. And the idea is I'm going to use my weapon to cut him as I do it. So as he attacks up, I'm going to block. I have a knife in my hand too, sometimes this pommel will dig in, and then I'm going to pull back. This can be an assisted cut here, and I just come back like this. If he does it again, I might do the same thing again. But the idea is every time he does this, he's throwing his arm at full power into my weapon area, so he's going to damage his arm that way. The other thing about this one is that he would put his right hand on the inside versus like this, the idea being that intuitively my hand might come back like this if something scares me, but it's not going to do this kind of a thing. So if my fingers come up and I have my right hand on top, as I do this, I might be cutting into my own fingers here. So this is how I avoid that, this way. And now my palm might end up on top. This can be adding more leverage to it. Because another way you could do this is to actually just do it like this, here. And I'm bracing my palm on the spine. But anyway, where's I going with that?
I have no clue.
Okay, so the other reason that this was useful, having this one on the inside, is that I can hide it behind my arm. So you see a lot of self-defense instructors and stuff will teach a position like this, where I'm talking, I'm trying to keep him at a distance, I'm trying to look non-violent, you know, I'm not in a fighting posture. But if I want to be able to do stuff like this, to respond to his violent attack with a knife that he suddenly produced, I need to have one in my hand. So if I have this sheathed away somewhere, and he suddenly comes in like this, I'm not going to have time to do this motion. Go slow. See, that's going to take way too much time. I need to have it in my hand already. So the way you can do this is if I have that left hand underneath thing here, it will disappear behind my arm here. So I can have this kind of a posture. I can let him know it's there if I really want to. But that's the idea, is right from here, I'm in a position where he attacks up here, and I can stop like this. Notice that one of the details about this one is that I lean forward, which if you learned this in karate when you were 12 or whatever, you learned to always do things with your back straight. But I can't really do that because if I am very upright here, see, this is already reaching me. That's the problem. So I'm going to need to kind of pocket my body into it here. And now I have a much bigger margin of safety. And also, it's going to be harder for him to break through it. If I just try and, let's just do it without the weapon a few times. If he's just swinging his arm up and I'm trying to stop it, and he swings it, harder, it's going to kind of rock me back like that. Whereas he does it, also, I'm farther away. Here I'm jamming into it. So he does it again. A little too much jamming in there. But do it again. See, I'm taking a lot of it out because I'm trying to stop it way back here versus trying to wait till it's already on me. So the closer I can get it to him, the better that's going to work for me. And then, obviously, you can follow up with lots of different things. So he attacks him here, and then from this position, I might be going into other types of motions as well. The other thing about Ranger Rob that's just good to mention, because I don't think I'm going to make a separate video about it, is that he did the Apache knife stuff, which, to be honest, I think probably doesn't have a real history that extends back very far. But their training method is pretty sound. They wear goggles, they put fake blood on their arms, and they spar with training knives. And that's better than a lot of the things out there. And so one of the things that he would do is a lot of the times when he would be trying to grab an arm, is that they would never emphasize really grabbing the arm. They would emphasize controlling the arm. Because if he's attacking me and I do something like this, see, I can actually get a good control of him and keep him from moving around pretty easily. Because I have two hands on his one hand. But the issue is, when knives are involved, there's going to be lots of blood, and it's going to be all over the place. Worst case scenario there. And if I try and grab his arm, but it's real slippery, it's going to slide out very easily. And he's confirmed this because they spar with this fake blood, which apparently is pretty oily. So the idea there is they would trap the arms in ways like this. This one actually just got me. That's no good. But they would be big on doing like a big overhook kind of a motion. And the idea here is I don't want to have it too high. Like normally I might try and get up towards here, and that can reach me now. So the idea would be to trap like this, and here if he tries to move it, it should be difficult for him. And he might be able to, kind of do things like this. So while this is happening, I have to stop him at that point in time. But that was just another detail that he would always be going over, was to never try and do this kind of thing, but to actually try and get some kind of a control. This is one of them where I'm just kind of gripping here and I'm extending his elbow. So if he tries to move, it should be pretty hard for him. And what he's probably going to try and do is bend his elbow back and like pull it down. See, and then this is where I can try and do this. This is one of the only times I'm going to be able to do this, because you see lots of cool defenses, especially like this is the super common ones where I'm going to go like this. But if he's really flailing around, I'm going to have some trouble getting there. Whereas I jam him, I control his arm somehow here, and I get it like this. And then from this position, I'm going to try and keep it straight to lock it out. And if he does manage to bend it, that's when I'm going to try and do it, because it's up against my body. And I can use a lot of good force here, and I can do other things. So anyway, that was the X block and knife defense stuff I learned from Ranger Rob.